On today's episode of Undercover Boss, the mayor of Gary, Indiana attempts to work undercover in her own city by adopting an alter ego and a new look.
So you're gonna walk like this and
Well, how you doing? My name is Sheila.
This mayor will go unnoticed as she meets the people who run the city, and while undercover, she finds out just how hard it is to keep the city going.
you can smell the waste.
This is poop.
Miss Sheila, he getting away, Miss Sheila.
All right, I'm gonna get him.
But what will happen when she meets an employee who's disappointed in her leadership?
Our boss and the mayor are best friends, so who can you tell?
Find out next on today's episode of Undercover Boss. Founded in 1906, Gary, Indiana was the leading producer of American steel for most of the 20th century, immortalized by the Broadway musical and The Music Man, and was the birthplace of the Jackson 5. Gary was once known as the Magic City, and leading this proud city into the future as its mayor, Karen Freeman Wilson.
My name is Karen Freeman Wilson, and I'm the mayor of the city of Gary, Indiana.
Karen has served as the mayor for 5 years, and she's the first African-American female mayor in the state of Indiana, and she was born and raised in Gary. Karen was a valedictorian of her high school, and she went to Harvard Law. During the summer, she worked in law firms in the city of Chicago, and although the money is good, she always felt that there was a need to come back to Gary. After graduating, she worked as a prosecutor, a public defender, and as a judge and attorney general. And finally, she ran for the mayor position because she saw that there was a need that existed in the city because of the decline in steel industry. The city of Gary was founded by Albert H. Gary, who was the chairman of the board of U.S. Steel, and the city experienced exponential growth and reached 180,000 people in population, but the steel industry started to decline and people started to lose jobs, which led to people leaving the city. Now Gary only has 77,000 residents, and this has led the city to crumble, and they've lost 50% of their taxpayers, and there's also significant increase in crime, and this is exacerbated as Gary has one of the most highest unemployment rates in the country. And Karen was motivated to run and become its leader so she can restore it to its previous heyday. On Karen's first term, she focused on giving people hope, which really worked, and she's at her second term now, and she wants to focus on getting the residents to 100,000 people, and to achieve this, she wants to go undercover and see if what she's implemented is working and what she needs to improve on. She'll be going undercover as Sheila, and her employees will be told she's doing a documentary for a reality show.
I'll be going undercover as Sheila. My employees will think they're on a different reality show.
For her first job, she'll be working as a certified operator at the sanitary district.
Today I'm going to be working as a certified operator during the night shift at the Gary Sanitary District.
And she meets up with Brandon, and he shows her around telling her what to do with the waste. He then shows her how to clean the tanks and leaves her to it. Karen really doesn't know how to clean, as she was using the back of the brush as a cleaner, and this was quite entertaining for Brandon to see.
She was using the back of the brush, and there's no bristles on the back. I thought it was just common sense, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion.
While working together, Brandon tells her that he has 2 kids, who he doesn't raise in the city because of crime. He also tells her that he's been working in his position for 8 years, and that there was no way to move up because the place is corrupted, and the higher-ups give promotions to their friends. He tells her the supervisors and the managers are all corrupt, and that they don't fix any problems within the system, but he really can't do anything about it because the manager is a personal friend of the mayor.
But who can you run to? Our boss and the mayor are best friends, so who can you tell?
Is that right?
Yeah.
This was all news to Karen, and she plans to dig deep into the situation when she's done. For her next job, she goes to a fire department to work as a firefighter.
Today I'm working at Station 7 with a Gary firefighter.
And there she meets up with Nate, and he shows her how to wear a fire suit properly, and then gives her 2 minutes to do the same. But she didn't make it in time, as she takes 12 minutes to put on the suit.
You want your time?
Oh, no, I don't want no
I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Okay, tell me now.
12 minutes and 42 seconds.
Lord.
He then shows her how to take out an injured person from a burning building, and she was out of breath only doing 1 run. Karen realizes just how physically demanding the job is, and although she failed every test, she's still grateful to have the capable people doing the dangerous jobs. On their break, she learns that Nate is very passionate about helping people, which is why he chose this job, but reveals that he's very under-equipped, which is making their job a lot harder.
When I hear Nate talk about what they have in other cities, it makes me want to work even harder.
The next day, she goes to the police station to work as an officer, and she meets up with Shanisa, who first tells her about the safety rules.
Miss Sheila,
Yeah.
hands killed.
Yes. When you see her walk up to the car, you know she is a police officer that means business.
And they go on a training drill about the traffic stops, and she shows her how to properly deal with unknown persons. Karen then takes the wheel, and after a little chasing, she follows what she learns pretty good.
I had high hopes for Miss Sheila, but you know, she's all nice and all grandma, you know. I don't know if Miss Sheila has that tough bone.
On their break, she learns that officers in Gary might get up to 10 times the call as other cities, but they still don't have good equipment, and they don't also get paid well, so some of them even get another job. Shanice is optimistic that the city will once again boom, but without a proper investment on safety and policing, no one will ever want to come to Gary. For her last job, she goes to the beach to work with the cleanup crew.
Today I'm going to be working with the beach cleanup crew at Marquette Park.
And she meets up with Steve, and he tells her that they'll have to use a smaller truck, which will make the job a lot harder because the city didn't pay for the big tractor and it got repossessed by the owner. He then shows her how to drive the tractor, and she takes the wheel and drives to the beach.
You gotta always watch your back wheel. Now turn it straight. Turn it straight. What are you doing?
And once they get there, they start picking up trash, and Karen struggles to pick up the trash cans and deposit into the tractor. On their break, she learns that the department used to have a 10-man crew, but they only have 2 people working, and he also tells her that they have not gotten a raise in 15 years, which is why he still needs to do other jobs to take care of his family. And finally, Karen's undercover time comes to an end, and she invites her employees to reveal her true identity.
I just want you to know that I'm Sheila.
Sheila? Oh, really?
Miss Sheila, aka Karen.
She also raises money from a private sector to give them some gifts. First in was Shanisha, and she tells her that she was impressed with both her as an officer and as a person, and she then tells her that the city has purchased 50 new police cars so they can do their job better, and she also offers to send her to a fully paid vacation.
I'm totally excited about what's gonna come for the city. I'm just super excited to be on the Undercover Boss.
Next in was Nate, and she reminds him of the problems in the fire station and tells him that she'll be remodeling their station, and then offers to send him to an NBA All-Star game.
Never would have thought. 4 years ago, the mayor swore me in. 4 years later, she was telling me that she was inspired by my actions.
After that was Brandon, and she also reminds him about his criticisms about the system and offers to sit with him on dinner so he can tell her all about the ideas and the problems that he faces, and she gives him $5,000 for his children's college fund.
Recognize that I made a change, and it's a blessing. It really is, man. It really is. It's a blessing.
And last but not least was Steve, and she tells him that he has not been treated well and that will change, and she also gives him and his coworker a 10% raise and another $10,000 fund to help pay for his wife's medical bill.
And I mean, I can finally, in my life, I can get ahead of myself.
God bless you.
God bless you.
And that is how this episode of Undercover Boss comes to an end.